Hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of the all-new Snap Judgments. You might still notice that I am Glazer and not Roy. Roy is actually going to be on a Patreon exclusive instead of being specifically on this episode. So if you're on that Patreon, patreon.com/snapjudgments, check it out. We are joined instead of by the person joining me on Patreon. We're joining me by the person who runs our league, which just finished our sixth season?
Fifth season. We are
planning the sixth.
Planning the sixth.
It's Gunny T. Hi, Gunny.
Hi, how are you this evening? Tired.
Doing?
Sleepy.
I might have streamed until 2 a.m. last night, everybody, because I'm a terrible decision maker. And then
you couldn't have predicted tummy issues.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm too old to go to bed at 2 a.m. It's basically the real problem here. I should finish my recordings at around 11:30, and then I go into all my friends' streams who are younger than I am and stream late, and I say goodnight to everybody, and then I go to bed about midnight. That is my schedule. I didn't stick to it last night, and I have been suffering all day.
Yeah.
Gunny, before we get to introducing our wonderful guest, and let's see if you can transition this. Gunny, what does the T stand for?
The T today stands for the next time you'll see the Snap Judgments League will be kicking off April 21st. So I'm looking forward to that. It's about 2 weeks away, so I have plenty of time to register. I'm looking forward to running our sixth season. It's awesome. And we have a very cool sponsor for this one that will be announced whenever we make the advertisement for it.
I mean, we can announce it now if you want. We can just start free advertising. Sure. We like
them. So we've worked with Top Deck for a long time, and they just opened up sponsorship availability for Top Deck, and they're sponsoring the next season. So I'm very appreciative for that. They're we've already been using them, so it's really cool. I really enjoy the Top Deck team, and them actually sponsoring a season is really awesome. Thank you, Top Deck.
The T also stands for Top Deck. The T also stands for the artist formerly known as Tuccrr. It is Johnny Nine Toes. How you doing, Johnny?
Yo, what's going on? It is great to be here. Glazer is gaslighting you guys right now. I am not rebranding, but it is good to be here, you guys.
Never ever believe him. That's how he lost the toe. It was a bet. It was a bet, and he lost both the name Tuccrr and the 10th toe. And now he's Johnny Nine Toes. I don't know what to tell you.
Did he lose a toe on 4 Rooms where they just chopped it off because the lighter didn't go off? Does anybody know the movie 4 Rooms?
I have no idea.
No idea.
Go on your own.
I did not get a toe removed. I just had toe surgery today. That's all that what happened. That's it.
It was a toeectomy.
Yeah, Argus knows what 4 Rooms is. See, I'm not the only one. It's a real movie.
I've heard it was good. I just didn't watch it. I heard it was dark.
It is pretty dark. So the one special thing about 4 Rooms is it's 4 rooms in a hotel, but each room is directed by a different director. So that's the kind of cool part about it. So 1 movie, 4 directors.
Oh, that does seem very cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In addition to things that are very cool, it is actually Tuccrr Nine Toes. He didn't lose his name. He just lost the toe. So, Tuccrr, how can our friends find you? Please spell your name for them.
You can find me on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Twitter under the name Tuccrr, Tuccrr. That is 2 C's and 2 R's. Regular Tuccrr was taken, so we had to be extra special and double up.
So, seriously, my very first stream, the only stream I didn't I didn't actively raid anyone. I tried to raid you, and I went Tuccr raid. And my very first stream, my very first raid was just everyone staring at a blank screen at the end, and I got a million messages going, "Hey, Glazer." I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm doing. The only other times I've ever failed to raid are when I randomly disconnect. So just so you know, your wonderful spelling worked great for me there. I write it all the time too. There's no excuse. Literally, I write it 3 or 4 times a week. There's no excuse. All right. So I guess it's time for me to run through the things, and then we're going to get to the new card acquisition system. Yeah, that's what we're starting with. All right, so if you are not on the YouTube, and statistically you are most likely watching this there, so if you are, thank you, hit that sub button. We are SnapJudgeGlazer Pod on YouTube, where I release a video basically 7 days a week, and let's be honest, it's more like 9 videos a week because I'm a maniac. Whenever day this comes out, I promise another video is going to come out also. In addition, we have a Twitter that you shouldn't follow because Twitter is the worst place on earth, but it's SnapJudgeCast if you like to make bad decisions. We are SnapJudgeGlazer on BlueSky, which I am sort of remembering to use more often because Nick keeps yelling at me. And what else do I have? I have a TikTok. I don't remember to use it, and I don't remember what my name is. And then the important thing is we have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/snapjudgments, where we use all that money to run all of our wonderful tournaments and do a ridiculous amount of giveaways. There is a giveaway for a free Captain Carter going on right now, so if you're interested, I'm not going to run through everything, but please check out literally any other video this week, and you can be entered to win a Captain Carter. That about cover that?
Yeah, I think so.
Let us do the thing. All right, so this is, if you are watching on YouTube or live on Twitch, we do, oh, that's the other thing I'm supposed to advertise. We're live on Twitch. I have a Twitch, and we stream this live on Twitch as we create it. It is twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. Now, you can see the screen there. If you're watching on a wonderful podcast catcher, we will do our best to make sure that you're clear on everything and read everything, but you can get visuals of our slideshow on YouTube, and you can watch us record this live on Twitch, or watch the VOD on Twitch, as you prefer. Okay, so Marvel Snap is finally redoing their card acquisition system. I'm going to do my very, very best to sort of summarize this, and correct me anywhere I get wrong, anything I'm missing. Cool?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right, so what really matters is spotlights are gone at the end of this month or the beginning of June. We don't know for sure which, but there will be no more spotlights at all. You won't get spotlight keys. Your spotlight keys are going to become 3,000 tokens. They're calling this new system Snap Packs. What this new system really is just buy the shit you want, please. We're going to turn all of your all of your keys into 3,000 tokens, plus your regular tokens, plus we're going to give you daily tokens and other stuff like that. New cards are still going to be 6,000 tokens. New Series 4 cards are still going to be 3,000 tokens. We're going to release some more cards, and we're just going to give you free-to-play people 12,000 tokens a month, at least, right? Collection track, you complete all your dailies, you get 6,000 tokens. You buy the season pass, you spend your gold wisely, yada, yada, yada. You should be able to get at least an extra card or so out of there. In addition to that, fundamentally being the new system, that's not what they're advertising the new system is. They're advertising Snap Packs. Snap Packs are, and we don't know the exact cost, are little packs you can buy. They are coming with a new card, a card that you don't know. There is no dupes, and then 2 other bonuses in each pack. There's going to be, I believe, currently 5 different packs. You can buy a new Series 5 pack. That will give you an unowned card from either this current season or last season, which would mean that if you were to open it this week, it doesn't exist now. This is an example. But if you were to open it this week, you could get Goliath. You still can't get the season pass. You can get Goliath or any card from last month that you don't own, assuming you don't own Goliath. Yeah? And then each new card will be added on a week-to-week rolling basis. That means if you're only missing like 1 or 2 cards, the beginning of the season is much easier to get things than the end of the season, but that's fine. The same basic thing is true of Series 4, except that goes 2 seasons back. And instead of being updated weekly, it's updated monthly. So last month, we had, I believe, 1 new Series 4 card come out.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, what the hell was the last month's Series 4
First
card?
Ghost Rider.
First Ghost Rider, yeah, that card sucks. It's fine. It's better than Silver Samurai. So we got First Ghost Rider, but then that one goes back 2 months, so we'd also get the 3 Sanctum cards, and then later this month, Dum Dum Dugan will be added to that list. So if you open that, you will get one of those unowned and whatever other 2 goodies. We don't know exactly what those are. The other one, so each of these will be discounted from the full price, so we know it'll be less than 6,000 tokens. We don't know what. The general speculation is the new Series 5 one will be about 5,000 tokens. The new Series 4 one will be about 3,000 tokens. Then for older cards, there's a Snap Pack for Series 5, Series 4, and Series 3, which are yet further discounted. So let's say you were looking for, I don't know, Ms. Marvel and Loki, and you don't own those cards. You could either buy them at base price, right? Or you can buy them from their respective Snap Packs, or like you can attempt to pull them, gamble-wise, from your attempt of Snap Packs, which is a further discount, again, if the 4,500, 4,000, somewhere in that general area, you wanted an older Series 5 card, which is a really steep discount, but you're gambling over which one you get. However, there is 0 chance of dupe, and you do get the extra 2 goodies, whatever, again, they might be. Boosters are advertised there, but so are tokens, and so are extra cards, so we don't know exactly what that's going to be. Same thing is true of Series 4, further discount, and then Series 3, you can buy a Series 3 card for 1,000 tokens, which apparently you can now. Who knows? I haven't seen a Series 3 card in the game in 2 years now. So
it's 1,000 tokens.
Sure, 1,000 tokens. But like you can buy a Series 3 Snap Pack, which is going to give you a random Series 3 card and goodies for X amount of discount. 750, 650, 400, who freaking knows? Hopefully they make those super cheap, right? And that is basically how it's going to work. Did I miss anything important?
Daily login rewards for tokens
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah, daily
I
login
think
rewards for tokens, assuming 25 a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was implied but not said, but you are not getting like random cards you already own. So like you said, it's something that you don't own.
No
but like
dupes.
the big difference between the Spotlight key system is if you only need one card out of the set, then you're getting either tokens or you're getting Spotlight variants, right? So this is a way that at least like I know there's a ton of people out there that would much rather get any card they don't own than tokens whenever they're opening on the Spotlight key system. So this is kind of like that. Like I'm targeting a card I don't own. I would really like to get this one, but at least no matter what, I'm getting a card that I didn't own.
Tucker?
Yeah, I think that still holds true. Also, when it comes to the new Series 5 and includes a card from the previous season, normally the season pass card is releasing a week after the new season starts from the previous season pass card. I think it's been a weird trend. Sometimes it releases the same week as the new season. Sometimes it releases the week after. And also at the moment, some of these event cards haven't truly released to Series 4 just yet, or like you haven't been able to buy them from the token shop. So hopefully this kind of helps fix that as well. I know that was an issue for a while, but I think this is a good change. I'm excited to see what it looks like before putting like all my eggs into one basket and thinks it's the best thing ever. I want to see it, of course, fully implemented, and of course, hopefully another post or something in the future to kind of explain and break it down from Second Dinner's perspective, opposed to just ours.
It sounds like the best thing ever. Winter Soldier pointed out too that they're planning on releasing more cards a season, so that is something that can possibly impact. It might be cheaper per card, but to stay current, it may be roughly the same. But again, you can target the cards you get a lot better. I think that really that's, and hold on, one more piece too. So in the old system, it took roughly 2.5 Spotlight keys to get a card you wanted. Whereas in the new system, even if you straight up just bought the card for 6,000 tokens, that's only 2 keys worth of value. So every time you would hit 2 keys, you have 6,000 tokens, and you can just go straight up to the store when it's available and buy that card.
Although it's unlikely, I believe they actually said no, but I'm not 100%, that every card will be there. So what they're doing is they're changing what they're making money off of. What they made money off of on Spotlight keys, all of you who opened with 1 and 2 keys, that's how they made their money. Straight up. If you spent money on the game and then would open Spotlights with 1 and 2 keys, what you did every time you missed was burn value. You got 0 value for your money at that point, which meant you had to spend more in order to keep up. What this does is say, hey, we're going to take away most of that gamble. Most of that gamble is gone. That gamble's still there if you're like wild and just want to open a million snapbacks, right? But like you're not going to get nearly as much of a discount that way, and you can absolutely do that. Instead, how they're monetizing this fundamentally is they're saying, well, if we're going to give you like 2 or 3 free cards a month, we're just going to make 6 cards a month. And now you have to make choices. You can choose to spend if you want all of them, or you can just suck it up and say, I'm only going to get 3 whatever cards a month, and that's totally fine. I will pick and choose my 3 cards very carefully. Or I will wait the 2 months and then try and get them when they're older in the system. Which
was kind of the case anyways, because if you weren't paying extra, then you were saving if you're doing it smart, you were saving your keys and you were then targeting the months you wanted to like gamble, quote unquote gamble. If you went with 4 keys, you're gonna get it. So the same kind of concept, except for just very much more targeted. You can target what you want.
Well, it's just, in addition to that, it's just you're never gonna like just whiff, right? Like a lot of their money, like trust me, you should see my comments. A lot of my comments every week are, I pulled with 1 key. This system sucks. Why didn't I get the card I wanted? And it's like, I don't know, man. And then like you get the like 3 people like, I only had 1 key. And it's like, well, you know that person's doing that again next week, right? And you know what they're not going to do next week. So that like extra like value they were getting was causing people to spend money. That FOMO causes people to spend money. Now they're saying, if you want this, buy it.
I think one of their thought processes is that with more agency, people are just going to be more willing to spend. I know I will be that way. Like if there's there have been times that I've skipped cards and been like, dang, I really wish I would have gotten that card. If I now have the option to like spend money and get it, that's awesome. And I think too, this is really important for me, right? Tournaments are my thing. It's been so difficult to onboard people into the game, especially, tournament grinders from other games. I played Magic the Gathering for years and years. I'm very accustomed to spending a lot of money on a game. I didn't have that ability in Marvel Snap. It didn't really matter how much money I threw at the problem to get to a point where I can actually start playing the game. Whereas now we have a way, it might be ridiculously expensive, but I think the ability to do that is pretty great. And on top of that, if you're a returning player, now you have a way to then, regain your collection or get up to an acceptable collection level. And I think it's going to do a lot. I really hope it does a lot for bringing in new players and bringing players back to the game.
So let me put on my flannel shirt really quickly. So what we're going to do is we're going to design a new game where what you can do is you can just give us your credit card. And as long as you do that, you can have all the cards right away. You can just buy in right away.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I know, but that's the new Marvel Snap ad that they're going to have to make, which is the exact opposite of the ad that's been running for the past 2.5 years.
I mean, in every other game, the credit card is the most powerful card in the game that can never be nerfed.
It's the most powerful card in the game in Snap right now. It just requires patience and money instead of just money. Now it's just like, all right, I'm just going to buy 70 Snap packs. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm
Tuccrr.
very excited for this implication, like I was saying earlier, of this new card system. But I'm more excited for when they eventually add custom snap packs to being able to even target cards more specifically that you'd like to play instead of having to gamble. Hopefully I can get it this time around. And then like teams, I think that's also really cool. So like I love X-Men characters, so I'm just going to try and get all X-Men characters. They're not all going to work in the same exact deck, but I'm going to have all the X-Men characters, and that's going to make me very happy. But I think even more than those two, content creators getting their own decks featured, I think is really awesome. And I think that is great for longevity of the game, as well as community of just Marvel Snap in general. And I hope it's like it boils down to more than just like content creators that everyone knows. I hope it's like, well, this deck is really popular because Snap Judgments helped push this deck, and you're able to see that this creator made this deck, and then Second Dinner looks like, oh, this is a so-and-so's deck, and they have that name. So like, let's say I don't see Rorum's deck getting labeled everywhere else, but Glazer talks and says this is a Rorum's deck, and you see in game, boom, this is Rorum's deck, so-and-so with all this. Like, I think that's going to be really cool, and I hope it is more, not necessarily just all over top like big creators. I hope there's a way it can kind of trickle in small creators. Of course, big creators, of course, will draw potentially more attention to these packs, but I hope there's a little bit or a good chunk of just sprinkle of both, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think what's important there is sometimes the big creators aren't necessarily making their own decks. So I think it'd be really cool if some of the variety channels like
everyone but Regis, right?
Right. So if it'd be really cool if they contact that creator or like somehow figure out like whose deck that was and give the right person.
I have this amazing advice for how they can figure out who fucking made every deck in Marvel Snap. They can literally shoot me a DM.
Yep.
I spend hours. Like there's a deck right now that I don't know who made. Like a stupid amount of my day was sending DMs and trying to figure it out. Like once in a while a deck just comes from Untapped and no one's exactly sure, you know what I mean, where it came from. But like 90% of the time I know or can find out. Way more than 90% of the time. Like we can credit the right person. Also, I'm going to be real annoying in the creator Discord just so everyone knows about making sure that kind of shit happens right.
Yeah. Another important piece here is for early collection level players, the archetype packs that they come out with will be really cool, right? So let's say you're a Destroy Bubba. You opened up your first couple Destroy cards. You're like, wow, I really like this. When that Destroy archetype opens up, and if you can buy the Series 3 cards, even if it's just the Series 3 cards, maybe a couple of Series 4 and 5 cards for that archetype, like that's going to be so cool. It's just gonna allow players, or it has the potential to allow players to have a much smoother experience going through. I know it's been a while for you two, but and I guess it's been a while for me now. But that Series
Yeah, you're
3
getting
climb
old.
can be rough. You get a couple of cards, and then you're like, I am like just this far away from making a good deck, and still I have to just play a bad deck until I finally find the card I want.
So other things to note here are there are people who are mains, right? Like Tuccrr and I don't know if you know him, Gunny, have a friend named Skada, who might as well be called Skarda because that's all he'll ever play, right? Like he loves Scar. He will marry Scar. It is his favorite thing in the world. He's relatively new in the game. I don't think he owns every card, right? Like he has a bunch of stuff he's still yet to grab. He could just be like, Scar, Surtur, Cull Obsidian. He could like just buy those freaking cards, save up, buy those cards, pin them when they're there, and within a couple of weeks he could have a deck, even without the
Yeah.
archetype things, right? If you're a main of a deck, and I like the way my brain works, I played 600 games of Marvel Snap last season, probably my most ever, and I didn't play a single deck for more than like 25 games. So, like, I play a lot of decks. I cannot imagine being a deck main, but other people certainly can, right? Like, Danish is somewhere, like, there's a new Danish hovering around waiting to get all the Hela cards and just be like, I'm a Hela main, and now I can just target that and be happy. And I can get other things as we go. I can test other things as we go, because now those main players will have just this abundance of resources all the time that they can always be into that. And, like, I just think, look, I've heard a lot of really wild arguments and complaints about this system, and everything about this feels too good to be true. Like, as long as the Series 5 packs don't cost more than 5,000 tokens, I think this is basically too good to be true. Like, this is like, they're going to have to release a lot more cards that are really cool, because this is amazing for the player base.
I wonder. So I wonder if they've obviously done a bunch of research into this. It's not something that's just going off the cuff. So I'm wondering if their goal is to make the people on the fringe, like myself, right, that don't spend a lot of money in the game, just to spend a little bit more. And I can tell you right now, if this is the system going forward, I see myself spending more money. Just that agency piece means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm. So,
like, I want to take my money and I want to get the thing I want with my money immediately.
So what this does for me, and like I've heard this from several other content creators, I'm pretty sure I'm never gonna have to spend on this game again if I don't want to, outside of season passes. Like if I just buy the season pass, I'll have every card for as long as the game exists.
Hold on. You won't have to spend money on the game for you again.
That doesn't count. Yes, I will still spend. Yeah, it's fine. We don't talk about how much money I spent on others in the game, but yeah, so I'll never have to spend again, right? But a bundle came up the other day, and I was like, I would 3 weeks ago before the new system was announced, I wouldn't have bought that bundle. But because they're being generous with us, I feel more comfortable being generous with them. Even though I don't need that bundle that has that cool variant, now I'm like, you know what? They're actually trying to help us. They're actually doing positive things for the community. And as long as they're rewarding the community, I have no problem rewarding them, spending a little bit extra on the game. And I think that, like, I've heard the same from a lot of content creators who are just like, I've got all the stuff, but like, I'll just buy extra stuff because like you're being cool about it. When you're being a dick about it, I don't want to give you my money. Tuck?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Honestly, something that I think would be really cool. I know like this is already going to be a really interesting system, but like I would love to see them implement multiple card packs. So like you can get 2 to 3 cards from maybe a specific archetype here. Kind of like it's not the same as opening, Spotlight Caches still, but like it maybe instead of it being like 10,000 for like 2, maybe it's like 8,000 or 8,500 like tokens. Like you just have a higher likelihood of getting a Series 5 card, but you have a chance of getting another Series 5 card. Like maybe that's not the best because it's a gamble system still, but like maybe it's like, well, I want to spend a little bit extra for another chance of getting something greater. And like if there's no dupes as well, you're going to have a higher likelihood of getting the extra Series 5 card instead of just another Series 4 with a Series 5 card. Like it'd be cool if they implement it that way. And then with these archetype packs too, like I'm able to get 3 cards from this archetype, so I'm even closer to building this deck. Or maybe they do some sort of like situation like that. Like that would be cool. And I think someone's talking about over here too, like deck rentals. I think it'd also be really cool. Yeah. Maybe it's like with the content creator decks, there's also featured deck of the week. Would you like to try it? Here's a deck rental for this featured deck.
Yep. This is where Marvel Snap should be. We need so this is where Marvel Snap should be for card collection. And once Marvel Snap gets where it should be for card collection, we can focus on the things that matter in game, right?
Mhm.
Which would be like, let's do something for leaderboards. Let's do something like leagues again that aren't just who can play the most over a 2-day period. Let's do something like tournaments. Let's do things in game to grow the game now, because now people can have the cards and actually participate.
Alliance
Which,
Wars.
like, yeah, Alliance Wars. Where Snap Judgment, one of the Snap Judgment alliances, is in the top 4 of our little personal one.
Yeah, the Husky Puppies tournament,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Ratgo of all people is in there because he, poached Dragon to get there. Yeah. Any parting thoughts about this? Any other thoughts?
I'm excited to see where it goes. I do think this can meaningfully impact the new player experience, the returning player experience, and the ability for players to have agency, which
Mhm.
I think, especially in my realm, tournaments, I think that can really breathe some new life into the game.
Tuccrr?
Yeah, I mean, I think I say this all the time. Like, they're doing things well with Newverse in the China version of Marvel Snap. It'd be cool if they do have some good communication with each other and maybe bring some of those implemented over here to North America and then the global Snap servers as well. I think we have a foundation of that starting over there. Why not kind of just, communicate with each other, and who knows, it might continue to help the game just take off, because I feel like this would be a really good point for Snap to continue to keep back up again, because just numbers overall, you're seeing it kind of just decline, and I would love to see it just either level out or, more importantly, just explode up again. And I think this is a really good step in a good direction.
This feels like a really good time for a major secret announcement, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the head of Marvel Snap monetization will be on the Snap Judgments podcast right after Snap Pack's launch. We're also going to invite our friend Lauren Whatevs on to make sure that the conversation and the questions are of the highest level in terms of what the system means, what they're considering, and how to make sure that everything works. We're not going to announce that at the front of anything until we get a little closer, but anyone who's watched this far in, I feel like, deserves that little scoop. So if you have questions that you'd like asked, we're going to have to submit our questions in advance, because that's how things work with Second Dinner, basically any company. Feel free to shoot me a message, an email, DM, whatever, and let me know what kinds of questions, and we'll see if we can get them approved, and we'll see if we can get them answered. We're not submitting anything, obviously, until we have more pricing information, right? Because that would defeat... How much it cost is basically the only real question right now, right? So asking that... Oh, I broke Tuccrr. Sorry, Johnny. But, we're going to get some really high-level questions, and if you have any, please feel free to let us know.
Cool.
All right, let's talk about some new cards. We're going to kick it off with Captain Carter. Gunny, can you read Captain Carter to us?
Captain Carter, Series 5, 6,000 tokens, ongoing. Add this card's power to your back row cards here. Can't add to itself.
What do we think, Tom?
So I'll be honest, and I haven't done any testing with this card at all whatsoever. But for what I've seen other people deal with this card, it just kind of feels like it's a little bit too expensive. Like, what it does is pretty interesting, because we're finally getting a row mechanic, so the way you play cards truly does matter, which I think that's cool. But from what I've seen and from what I've heard from other people, it just feels a bit too expensive.
Gunny?
From what I've seen so far, is it can be awkwardly placed at sometimes because of just random things coming out, things affecting your board, that can just make it awkward to play. That being said, I think the card's really good at winning its lane. Like, I've seen games played where the lane that Captain Carter's in is at 50 or 60 power, but the other lanes can struggle a little bit, especially at that 4 cost, like Tuccrr was talking about. Yeah, I haven't really landed too high on it myself.
So I'm going to go totally off brand and be an arrogant shit. Cool? Everyone's good? Ready? No, I never.
Wait, what's new?
Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks. So the highest win rate deck at Infinite with this is my deck. The highest win rate deck at not Infinite with this is my deck. It's the Doom 2099 deck. That seems to have breathed new life into that archetype. Doom 2099 is a legitimate thing with Captain Carter and Goliath. Is it a legitimate thing? Should it be something you really want to play a lot of this week or next week? No, probably not. what this card says, or what the release of this card says in big flashing neon lights to everyone is, we should be running Super Skrull, we should be running Enchantress, we should be running Magneto. In a week, a new card comes out. That's how Marvel Snap works. And when a new card comes out, people go, oh, we should probably try and do something with or to counter that. And once that happens, Captain Carter gets significantly better. That said, I still don't think she's utterly amazing right now. I think she's good. A few people, Splat, Scott of SnapFan, and Safety Blade of Marvel Snap Zone, have all messaged me and been like, hey, people are doing this wrong. It's not an ongoing card outside of Doom. Like, because there's a lot of like little regular, like the Anti-Venom deck that's been floating around, the Anti-Venom Spectrum deck, and it doesn't seem to want Captain Carter very much. Like, it actively makes those decks worse. But Splat has a Surfer deck, and Safety has a Galacta Hope deck, and Scott Denham has a Wiccan deck, right? Like, in all of those, the card works really, really well. Those are like games that are trying for those late game power spikes where all of a sudden you go from nothing in a lane to like 15, 20 in a lane, and like those steal extra cubes, and Captain Carter seems really solid in those. I don't think she's Galacta, right? But I don't think she's all that far from Gwenpool. And that's a fairly hot take, right? Like, that's way higher than most of the community is on her. But when we can make her work, and it's not that hard to make her work in those decks, because cards like Kitty, cards like lost the name, Rocket and Groot, card like that kind of card doesn't take up a spot on the board in the front row. So you can play Captain Carter wherever you want. You can move things around, you can replay things, and then all of a sudden your cheap cards are getting an extra 3 power, an extra 5 power, whatever it may be. If you can hit it with Galacta, if you can hit it with even a single Gwenpool trigger. And the card that it's really going to want, I think, is Kahhori. Because Kahhori says I can now play this on 4. And then on turn 5, if I drop Kahhori, and any hits on it are just extra found money. Like, because I'm going to want to be playing Kahhori anyway, right? Like, so I think I might just cut Gwenpool from these decks and just go Kahhori and Kate and just say, let's go to town. I think this card is decent. Like, this is the worst season pass, like, bar none, since Symbiote Spider-Man. But I do think it's significantly better than Symbiote Spider-Man. I think it's a good card. And, like, people are, like, I've got Cope as, like, my reviews of it that will be as of yesterday, as of this going live. But, like, I think that's... What's the word I'm looking for? I think that's judging it in an environment that is insanely harsh to it right now, and us putting it in what is ultimately, outside of Doom, largely the wrong shelves. It's a Surfer card. It's a Surfer style card. It's a mid-range card, not a combo ongoing theme deck card. Further thoughts? No?
No, I think that's valid. I think, like, this card is just also, like you said, an example of we're shifting the meta because Season Pass card came out and people got Season Pass card. I like the ideas you threw out also with, like, the Gwenpool Kahhori value. I think that's like a really cool concept there. But yeah, I think it's okay. I don't have like any qualms with this card. I just I think Doom 2099 is lame, but it works really well with this card, and Doom
2099 lanes get big with this card, like big with this card. It's those decks used to have a hard time going tall, but Captain Carter and Goliath say that they can go tall. But, like, you play her and your opponent plays a freaking Super Skrull and you're just annoyed, right? Like, because now they have half your deck if you're playing an ongoing deck. When that's not the case, I think I don't know if we're cooking with gas, but we got at least some coals that are, like, smoldering.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the other card that came out this week. Goliath. 2/1. Ongoing. +1 power for each other ongoing you have in play. Tuck?
I honestly have been playing this card quite a bit. I genuinely like this card. It's genuinely just a good card. I've been liking this more in like a mid-range Agent Venom shell, and I think that's been really cool. Been doing some pixie things with it too. But this is just a genuinely good card, and I think this card progressively continues to just get better and better as more ongoing cards are added to the game at a 2 cost. It's just really solid, and I don't think you necessarily have to make an entirely ongoing deck for Goliath to get value. Like you can have 4 to 5 ongoing cards, and your Goliath goes potentially to a 2-4, or a 2-5 and a 2-6. And if you just play Sam Wilson, you automatically have an ongoing card on the board. So like it just is a genuinely just good card.
I think Sam Wilson carries this card.
Ravonna really, really helps too.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just think Sam Wilson having the ability to start with one on the board, putting another card in with another ongoing, like it's a really, yeah. I mean, it goes in an ongoing deck. It's a good card. It generally gets up to what, about 8 power naturally, say on average?
In a like not all in ongoing deck, in a deck that runs a lot of ongoing, it's a 2-6 or 2-7. It can get to 2-8, 2-9 pretty easily in another style of ongoing deck, yeah. Like in an all in, like a Doom deck has no problem making it to 11.
Moonstone loves this card.
Yeah. You know who doesn't really hate this card? Surprisingly, like you hit him as like, especially with Ravonna, you drop a Mystique on this. It's not half bad. Like an extra 7 power, whereas Mystique used to be like, I guess I'll copy Mr. Fantastic and hope for the best, right? Like, but then you're throwing a lane completely because you ain't winning a lane that has a 1 and a 0 in it. Like, this is the easiest card ever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not like, what does this do? What do I put this in? How many ongoings do I have? 7? Cool. Goliath goes in that list. Right? Like,
I think this is a really great card for like newer players too. Something very easy to buy. Ongoing is very prevalent in the early collection level. Like, good card to pick up.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, just do you ever build an ongoing deck that doesn't run this for the rest of time?
No.
Right?
No, probably not.
Every ongoing deck
Like,
is going to run this.
what is the replacement
It's
for
just
it?
like
You're
negative,
already playing.
maybe. But
This is negative and ongoing list?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
ongoing
depends
deck. It
on
has
the
ongoing
duration.
just because they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, if the deck is ongoing mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just, this is, like, it's got a higher ceiling than I thought it would. Right? Like, it definitely puts out more points and is more of a threat in a lane than I thought it would be. But, like, this, so Sam is the MVP with this, not just because, like, it gives you the 2 ongoings, but because now you have 2 2/8s.
Yeah.
And, like, 416 is a lot of stats. Like, just, you have a lot of stats, and then you have a lot of stats everywhere else, and then you have a couple cards that double those stats in various ways. I've been shunging Goliath. Like, that's a real thing you can do in Marvel Snap now. I don't know. I think this card is great. This is one of the easiest, like, I'm just going to spoil it now, buy recommends ever. If you play any type of ongoing, you should just own this card. Make your life easier, own it. I don't think this is going to be card of the month, but it's not going to be far off.
Yeah. Continue to pour one out for Lizard, who continues to just get like, gapped by any other 2-cost ongoing card.
It was like, well, you know who's really sad? Gorgon was like, I was a contender for a minute. Like now Gorgon's going to be like the specific meta answer, whereas he was just turning up and shit. There's no reason on earth not to just be playing Goliath.
No.
Yeah, like the easiest buy recommendation. Like, it's not like we get higher ceiling shit, right? Like, we get like occasional broken things, like original Doom 2099. We're just like, what the fuck was that decision, right? Like, holy shit, that's huge. Like that's a deck. Goliath is just like, yeah, this goes in shit and dominates. This is
I think this is
go
pretty nerf proof as well.
Like, make it a 2-0.
I mean, they could make it a 2-0, but really, like, there's not a whole lot. Like, it's not breaking the game. I think that's what I kind of mean there is, like, nobody's flipping tables because Goliath hit the board.
I 1,000% hear that. That makes perfect sense to me. It's just, this is a buy. This is a nice, easy buy. Get it if you want to play these decks, and you will always put it in those decks. It's not going to get power crept out, or it's very unlikely to get power crept out, right? Because, like, the more good ongoing shit they make, you're just like, cool, Goliath gets a little bit bigger. I don't know. I really, really like this card. This card, like, I don't know who said it. Someone said it actually, I don't remember where. It was on Discord. Someone said it to me. They were like, why didn't this card exist forever? I don't know. It seems like it should have. Fucking around with Dazzler and Mojo. Speaking of power creep, right? Like,
I can
Dazzler
say
and Mojo.
it's been real fun to run Enchantress and Grandmaster on turn 6.
Yeah, that's fair. Look, but like in a week, like Enchantress does
You're
nothing
right.
to Kahhori decks, right? Like,
Mhm.
yes, for a week, this is this really obvious meta answer. But as long as that's not the meta deck, the like tier 0 strategy, that's a gamble. And and it's not for this week. This week you can just throw Enchantress, Super Scroll, or Magneto into a deck, and you're gonna have a lot of success. Or some combination thereof. But that's because Marvel Snap is the fastest moving game in history, that's not gonna be a long-term problem.
Yeah, until they add like you get two cards a week, and then it's like, well, which one do I account for now? You know, kind of thing. Which I'm honestly excited for something like that.
That seems amazing. Like even when the first week is just cards that don't go together, and you're like, huh, like, but the last 3 months, what came out with? Oh, nothing came out with Sam. Sam came out alone fundamentally because he came out with Joaquin, right?
Oh yeah, the dead Joaquin. Sorry.
Yeah, so he came out as the only card that week fundamentally. But like, Iron Patriot came out with Victoria Hand and was like, well, guess what everyone's playing. And Agamotto came out with Isan, and for a week, Agamotto Isan was everywhere. So that's the thing. All right, let's get from cards we know about. Oh, we actually have to talk about this. Cersei, Gwenpool, and Goliath are awesome cards to come with Goliath. Gwenpool doesn't really go with Goliath, but Gwenpool does go with very well with Agent Carter, despite it looking like they might not go so well together. Cersei, whatever. I'm happy Cersei exists, I guess. I don't really care. That card hates me, so I'm not a big fan.
All Series 5 cards, though.
Yeah, all Series 5 cards, and you get Goliath. So, like, I also opened for the Spotlight because I didn't really want the baby Goliath. It didn't feel right to me.
That takes 2 weeks to come out, by the way, too. Does it come out the first week?
Yep. Like, I have no. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm using 8 keys because I didn't realize that was the case. But I'm down to a terrible low 46 right now, so I think I'll survive. Again, I don't have to spend money anymore on this game. We're set. Yeah. If you don't own Gwenpool and you don't own Goliath, for the love of God, open. Also, this Gwenpool variant is gorgeous.
First time she's back in Spotlights too, or first time she's in Spotlights ever since her season pass. So,
also the only variant she has in the game that's not her season pass variant.
True.
Thanks, Gabe. All right, so serious question. I think the Cersei variant, and no offense to the artist, is horribly ugly. Do you like this Cersei?
It's okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate it as much as I really did not like the Black Swan a couple seasons ago, but it's definitely not my favorite.
This looks like the cover to a Doom book.
Yeah. What is she holding?
Dune book.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I don't know.
What is she holding?
She's holding the water creator for the planet of Dune.
Oh, that's fair. Like, it's an ugly card. It's ugly colors. Like, her hair and body both look weirdly misshapen. I like nothing about that card. Gwenpool is one of the best variants they've ever released, and that came with that Cersei. Very disappointed. Final thoughts? We ready to move on to the card I want to talk about?
Yeah.
It's Kahhori. Tuck, want to read it?
Sure. Kahhori is the brand new Series 5 card, which is going to be 6,000 tokens. She's a 4-cost, 6-power card. On reveal, each card in your hand gives one of your cards in play plus 1 power.
What do you think of it?
I genuinely do like this card. And I think one thing that's really cool about like Kahhori is you would think like maybe it's limited to you can only hit each card one time, but this card can hit the same card multiple times, which is really cool to be able to kind of either target cards on the board. Think of like Namora is like specific, of course, you know, you have to have a card individually in a lane by itself, and of course he gets +5. But I like the idea of Kahhori too is like you don't necessarily have to have 7 cards in your hand every single time. Like that's the high roll. Like, yeah, you get the maximum +7 power, but like you can kind of target this a bit more than you can with Gwenpool. Of course, Gwenpool gives you a consistent +6 power to cards in your hand overall, and you can target it that way. But I think this is a really cool card for board presence and can also swing you some games too, especially if you're not playing it out on curve, which you're probably going to want to play it on a curve, or just depending on like if you have the Zabu or if you have the extra energy kind of thing. But or Galacta, yeah. But I do genuinely think this is going to be a very fun card, and I enjoy this card.
I'm just thinking like the correct, maybe like turn 6, this plus Grandmaster yet again. Like have some kind of deck that fills your hand up, then you're getting +5 power.
Well, you're now playing 2 cards for 6 energy, so like you'll get +10, so it'll be 5 twice if your hand is otherwise full.
I mean,
right?
it's a 4/16. I guess it's a 6. Yeah.
So look,
6,
most
19.
of the time, without doing work, right? Like just playing an on-curve game, she's a 4/10. You're gonna have 3 or 4 cards in hand 90% of the time, and you don't play her like without things that benefit from her, right? Like you run. I mean, the most easy and obvious card in the world to run with her is Kate Bishop. You run her with Kate Bishop, and you're just like perfectly happy. You can go all in. You can go Victoria Hand shenanigans. That's perfectly fine, right? Like you can do Agent Coulson. You can try Dino even, but like you don't need to do that. You can just run Kate Bishop and Iron Patriot and call it a day, and be like, I'm gonna play a 4/7. Sorry, a 4/10 that always buffs the board and makes my like things a threat in ways the opponent can't predict. Good luck snapping against me. Good luck sticking around. This card is going to be like consistently strong. I mean, so this the deck that has become known, the Derek deck, the Season Passler, just like I don't know why I'm running Gwenpool anymore in that. I'm running this. I'm just gonna add Kate Bishop and run this. Like I see no reason to like around. I'm gonna run that and be fine. I'm like, we're not gonna talk about Merlin today, but in 2 months when Merlin comes out and puts a card in your hand every turn, stay tuned later today for that video, dear people watching this on YouTube later. But like this is my card of the month. I think that this is the next of the like Gwenpool, Galacta, Ms. Marvel 4-drops.
I don't know. I'm actually thinking about it now. I don't know if I'm high on this card.
Why?
I think it's gonna be okay.
Why?
I don't know. That's where I'm leaning towards.
Okay.
I think it's gonna buff the board slightly. Like a 4/10 is okay. We have plenty of 4/10s. Why am I playing this 4/10?
Because this 4/10 is pure upside, and 4/10 is its
not
downside.
Pure upside though. So you mentioned playing Kate Bishop. Why am I playing Kate Bishop? I'm gonna add these cards in my hand. I want to use the cards. So if I'm using those cards, like am I waiting till turn 6 to use these cards? Or you use those cards to fill your curve?
I don't usually use those cards necessarily to fill my curves. And like if I'm playing those cards, I've still got other cards that I'm drawing in my hand, right? Like it's not like I play Kate Bishop and I'm done drawing for the game. There's also a massive amount of misery decks right now that are basically constantly clogging your own hand that seem really, really good with this. Like if I could play this on turn 4, on either turn 4 or 5, and then I could follow that up. If I can follow that play up with like dropping like 4 or 5 demons, like not only did I buff my whole board, now I've got like 4 demons that a turn or 2 turns later. That seems like it's probably going to win the game. Because now, like, basically everything is 5/6 power. That just seems like a lot to me.
I think this with Symbiote Spider-Man seems pretty good. Because that's already a card on the board.
Sure. I mean, with anything that messes with on reveal seems good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like Shaw getting hit with this card too is pretty pog. I mean, we got Iron Man. Like, there's a bunch of just. Well, I mean, it's not like you hit
Surfer
one
only plays 2 or 3 cards, right? Yeah,
yeah.
You can hit cards multiple times. You can hit one card 4 times. You don't have to have 5, 7 cards on the board. So, like, if you play, like, if your only plays are skip, Shaw, Kahhori.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
You like that seems. Lane. Yeah, I mean, I like winning a lane early. That seems good. Like, because I can also run Juggernaut, right? Like, there's a lot of powerful things I can do with this card. Maybe it sucks, right? But I can't. It's very hard for me to imagine. Like, all the 4 scalar guys have always been good.
Yeah, I think Clog will be popular this week, though. Kind of like Nomura week. And it's already coming back right now, too, with all the ongoing stuff. But
yeah, I mean, but like, if that's good, then my answer is to run the Firehair Killmonger stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the Firehair Killmonger stuff just beats Clog. It doesn't beat everything, but it just beats Clog. Derek has a really cool version of that runs Darkhawk. I could just cut Darkhawk and run a Kahhori package instead just fine. It's got V-Hand in it already. So I'm already like getting extra cards and doing things with them. Like, I don't think that loses to Clog basically ever, because I've got Misery and Killmonger in it. Like,
yeah.
Like, there's ways of, like, I think this deck is the two homes for me are the good stuff build and the Victoria hand build. And I think it's really good in either of those.
I'm just not convinced it's good in good stuff.
I could see it not being good enough in good stuff. I think it's almost certainly better than Galacta. Not Galacta. It's not better than Galacta. It's almost certainly better than Gwenpool and good stuff. Because the problem with Gwenpool and good stuff is I almost never want to play what it hits. I want to play what I want to play. And when it hits what I want to play,
that's true.
It's
I don't
great.
like Gwenpool in that deck.
Yeah. So, like, I just need something to replace Gwenpool. And the original Derek version runs Kate. So, like, if I'm already running Kate, and I'm already running Iron Patriot, and I'm already running Gwenpool that I don't really want to be running, then I just make a 1-to-1 replacement.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think like high end, yes, 410 is probably what you're like probably wanting for like the goal, but like I think there's certain instances where it's like, well, I hit just these two cards. Like, it's just going to be very interesting to see how you build around this. Like, are you wanting more cards in your hand? Are you just wanting to play this card out? But I think it's going to be very interesting, and this Spotlight Week is also very, very interesting too.
Hood, Firehair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Card. Kahhori. Venom. The Kahhori hood lane. You're gonna get the extra hood from the extra demon from Firehair, right? Like, that's not a hard combo to pull off, and you're just like shitting power at that point. Like, you are. Like, you're like Firehair is just like, demons. Oh yeah. Kahhori is shitting out power all over your board.
And there's less cards on the board there too, so you're actually getting more.
And like, and anything you hit with Kahhori that you're eating with Venom, you're still keeping the power.
Yep.
Like, that's not a hard curve to pull off.
I'm still thinking of Symbiote Spider-Man and Grandmaster.
I like Grandmaster. I don't trust Symbiote Spider-Man for anything. Like, this card's already a giant Magneto target in any combo deck. Symbiote Spider-Man just says, where do I want to play my Juggernaut? Where do I want to play my Red Guardian? Right? Because now 4 has to be my low cost in that lane, which means Spider-Man has to be my low cost in that lane, which makes it a real easy target. Yeah, this card's going to be good, though. This card's going to be good. The Surfer players already love it in chat. Hi, Heart. It comes with one good card and one card that looks like a Ninja Turtle villain.
Oh my god.
It is. That's it. Tell me that's not a Ninja Turtle villain.
It certainly is.
Yep.
The Cull Obsidian that this comes with is 1,000% art that someone made as a Ninja Turtle villain and was like, oh shit, they want to pay me for Marvel Snap? Here you go. And then we've got a very amusing Hydra Bob and a reasonably cool Kahhori variant. I think there's just a better one coming out the same week. But what do we think of these cards / variants, Tuck?
If you're missing Hydra Bob, you can get Hydra Bob now, and Glazer and I are pretty much sold on Kahhori. Spoiler alert. So I think that's good. And if you're missing Cold Obsidian, his value has gone down a little bit since Sam Wilson's nerf, but still a generically just good card to have in your collection. I think it's a pretty solid week to open. And I like the art too. The Bob looks cool.
Don't think you're sad to own any of these cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if Cull matters anymore. But, like, the card is fine, right? Like, and it's Series 4, so I don't really give a crap about our Ninja Turtle villain here. But Hydra Bob is, like, a card you want. This is also, I believe, the first time Hydra Bob is back.
Yes. So, and then he's a bundle coming out later, too, like a couple months, if you wanted to get it before that.
The Sir Hydration Robert bundle. Yeah. Props for Second Dinner for listening to the community for that one. You know that shit came from Glenn, right?
Did KM coin that one?
I think it was Kocha.
KM and Kocha apparently at the same time independently is what they both claim. So, yeah. Sir Hydration Robert indeed. But yeah, love it. Love to see it. If you don't own Bob, open this week, right?
Yeah.
Like the way to open keys this month, I think, given the new systems on potentially on the horizon, it might be a little longer, is if you're missing 2 cards.
I was just thinking about that. Like, I'm not opening for 1 card until the new system comes out. I'll just get the cards I want.
Yeah. Well, so the value of 2 spotlight keys right now is the value of a card is 2.5 spotlight keys, right? And 2.5 to 2.8, somewhere in that general vicinity. They're giving us 3,000 tokens, which is just a better rate.
Yeah.
So you should take the better rate if you can. Assuming you can wait. I can't wait for Kahhori. I can't wait for any card. I'm a content creator. But like, even if I wasn't, I can't wait for Kahhori. That card's amazing. Next up, we got Infinity Ultron, which is going to take a minute because he adds shit to your hand. And,
Sure does.
That seems like it might be good with Kahhori. Nah, it's actually not. With Luna, I guess it would be. All right. Infinity Ultron is a 5/6 on reveal. Add 2 of Ultron stones to your hand, and I'm going to run through the stones quickly, and then we'll talk about them. Space is 3/4. Move the lowest power enemy card here to Infinity Ultron. Reality is 3/1. Add a drone here. Set its power to Infinity Ultron power. So like it'll become a 3/6 if Infinity Ultron hasn't otherwise been buffed or debuffed. Ultron Time is a 3/1. Put a card from your hand here. Mind is a 3/2. Ongoing. Your on reveal abilities happen twice. Power is on reveal. Double Infinity Ultron's power. That seems like it would be good with Reality. And then we have Soul, which is for each full location, give a card there plus 2 power. Tuck, take us away on Ultron.
Question. Do you think
Answer.
the drone that they add is going to be a 3-cost drone or a 1-cost drone?
I think the drone will be a 3-cost drone.
Okay.
The drone is 3, right? Like, I would assume. Oh, no, it might be 1 shit.
No, I think it's just going to be a regular drone.
Yeah, it would just be 1, 2. Like, yeah, fuck, that sucks. So if they have Killmonger, you're just Sag.
Yeah. So, like, I genuinely really like this card, especially when it comes to the deck building, just mechanics to be able to make this work. Because, like, you're like, well, I have to roll this 1 out of 6 instead of, or I guess 2 out of 6 opposed to like the 2 out of 4 for like Kate Bishop. So, like, it's similar in that sense. Granted, these are way more expensive than arrows. But I think it is going to take some time to potentially deck build for this. I'm thinking of ramp style decks for this to be able to get better value potentially out of Infinity Ultron, and like the 5 cost definitely feels like very interesting for like, am I basing my final turn on having to play out these stones, or am I playing out just one of these stones? Of course, they do work
playing
Quinjet, or you're playing Kahhori. Like, I do genuinely like the idea and the concept for this card. I'm just very interested to see where it ends out. But like, I definitely will be playing this a lot. And I think it gets Blink value. You have Luna Snow value. You kind of maybe have some Hope Summers value potentially as well. But it's just going to be really interesting to see if you're actually just going to try and get 2 stones, or if you're really going to go super combo heavy and you're trying to get as many stones as possible. Do you get duplicate stones? Kind of like with Kate Bishop, you can generate 2 of the same exact arrows kind of thing. But I think this card's going to be very fun.
I think this card's bad.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be too much work. I do think it could have room possibly in an Airshim deck, right? Being able to play this on 4, get your stones out for the next turn, and it's going to be dependent on what you have in hand, right? Having a blob happen twice is pretty ridiculous. I'm not really excited about the Reality Stone of just setting its power to to 6. So what are you paying? You're getting a 3/7. That's not an awesome rate, especially for the amount of work you're putting in. Double its power, so you're paying 8 to get an 8/12. Super not great. Again, unless you're getting things would have to line up really well. At some point in time, I'm gonna have my pants pulled down by this card, but I think it's gonna be rare in between.
Yeah, I think it's a Surfer card. We've started to see a lot of Surfer decks that are going Luna into Serra into something and then have a backup 5-drop. That backup 5-drop being Infinity Ultron just makes all the sense in the world. I could easily see that working. Where like if you just play Serra, you just ignore Infinity Ultron for the game. Who cares? You finish the game with a Surfer. If you whiff on your Luna play, you can then go Infinity Ultron into you can play Galactant to Infinity Ultron, and then if you get an extra the drone, now all of a sudden it's giving you a 9 power card. That seems like it's a worthwhile play. instead of doing the other shenanigans, especially if you can still Surf or still Juggernaut or whatever else. Plus, the Mind seems insane with Surfer. Your unrevealabilities happen twice just seems amazing. If I can get that out with the Surfer, right? I play that 3-2 and then I just immediately get a double Surfer. And like your opponent doesn't know which of these you have. The Soul Stone is obviously not great with Surfer, but I think basically all of the others work reasonably well with Surfer. The Space, largely because it's a 3-4 that plays as moving that lowest power card. But the Soul will at least work well with Brood. And that seems like it's pretty good, right? Like, just giving an extra +2 power to a Brood lane doesn't seem terrible, and Surfer does fill an extra lane or two here or there. Like, I think, like, and there's just enough clog, and I think that this is going to be a card that plays very, very well with Silver Surfer. I will test it, as will everyone, in a million different shells, because it's one of those cool I do something that nothing else in Marvel Snap does cards, and those always get bought a lot and played a lot. See also Agamotto. See also, honestly, Doom 2099s. Like, any card that's like, I add something new to the game. I create cards. I do something weird and janky. Always gets disproportionately played. And I think it deserves to. I still don't think this is going to be very good, but I think it's at least going to be cool and have a, like, reasonable home in Surfer. And, like, I don't see why you don't run it in Arishem, right? Like it's a perfectly fine play. Because, like, I can just run Quinjet in that anyway.
Better yet, this would be a really cool card to be generated by Arishem. I would like that a lot more.
Yeah, well, that's fine too.
I'm really excited for this card to exist, to be added to my Arishem deck randomly.
Fair.
So, like,
I mean, Coulson can make it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's 100%, of course, right? But, like, I do remember, like, when Arishem was first, data mine for the season and all that, people thought Arishem was going to be bad. That is way too many cards in a deck. And I know this is different because you don't have the extra energy, but I do think, like you said earlier too, Glazer, like, just what stone do they have? What are they going to be able to do? And that unknown aspect does give this card extra value. And I think definitely on the fun scale, if you guys just want a fun card to mess around with, this is that fun card, because you're playing the lottery every single time. Well, I built my deck around getting these 3 stones, and I never get these 3 stones. So, like, it's just going to be very interesting. I'm very excited for this. Not necessarily think it is the best card ever, but I think this will add a lot of really good clips. Like, you'll see a lot of people hit some crazy clips with Infinity Ultron.
Yeah. I think I'm higher.
I can't wait to see what Regis comes up with.
I was at start. I mean, yeah, Regis will have some weird jank with this, right? So I'm just trying to think of other homes, right? Like, unless it just builds its own deck, and I don't think it's quite good enough to build its own deck. It's got too many low rolls. All I could really think of is Surfer and Arishem. I'd like there to be something else.
Victoria Hand stuff too could work with it.
Maybe double ongoing stuff, like overall, right? Like, you get 4 stones, you run it with Quinjet, drop it on a Wong, call it a day. Maybe, yeah, there could be shit. I don't know. Collector stuff, yeah. Like, I don't know. Does anything we talked about, like, remotely beat the Bullseye deck, though? You know what I mean? Like, because this all just feels like tier 2 strategy talk to me. Yep. That's why I don't like the card that much. Like, I think the Bullseye deck right now is sort of like I guess that deck could run Mobius if it's a Surfer deck, and now we have some reasonable play, right? I don't know. A little bit of A, a little bit of B. Wait, I don't have Spotlight cards for that. Oopsie. All right, screw you, Spotlight cards. I don't know what comes with that. My bad. Strange Supreme. Oh, you're going to grab it? Tucker's going to tell us what Spotlight cards come with it.
Spotlight cards are going to be Cannonball and Pixie.
No, so unless you really need Cannonball, whatever. And Cannonball is Series 4, right? Pixie sucks. They've clearly signaled to us that they're just not going to make Pixie good.
Pour one out for Pixie.
No, let's not. Let's just let her go.
No, Ika and I are punching here right now.
Oh, is Ika here? Let's hope not, because Jizzy, shit, I'm gonna get yelled at tomorrow. I'm gonna stop by stream like, so I hear you don't like Pixie, and then he's gonna play 17 Pixie decks in a row, have like an 85% win rate, and I'm gonna be very annoyed. Yep, there he is. Damn it. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Cannonball's phenomenal. Great card. And Pixie is something you can play if your name is Ika. And if your name is not Ika, like, you could play it, but like your name should probably be Derek.
Love Pixie.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen you play Pixie.
I am a very avid Pixie drawer. I haven't played her in a minute, but I was playing her yesterday. And
so how much can you? Well, no,
I played High Evo Pixie. I played High Evo Pixie in tournaments. Like I played.
Oh wow!
That. Yes, I played a good chunk of Pixie. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Pixie and Black Knight. Bye. You know, those are two of my.
So I like Black Knight. I had a Black Knight deck in today's video, sir. All right. Let's go with Strange Supreme. Connie, want to read it?
Strange Supreme, new Series 5 card, costs you 6,000 tokens, gains +2 power from merging. End of turn, merge one of your created cards into this.
Tuck?
So, like, at first, I was like, this card, I don't know how I feel about it. Which, like, still, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it, but something that was like really cool in the dev update is that this is a global condition. It doesn't have to just be on the lane with Strange Supreme, which I thought was really cool. I think it's good to be either an anti-clog card or maybe you're playing it with clog to kind of help yourself, which is very interesting. Always getting an additional 2 after it merges with the card is nice. But I really haven't narrowed down exactly what kind of shell I want to play with this. Of course, like you can do it with Thanos as well, but like you kind of want some of those stones on the board. And like, you know, that takes away your Mockingbird value. So like maybe you don't play this with Mockingbird. Maybe you do play this with Mockingbird. I don't know. It's just going to be really interesting just to see kind of what happens with this. And when I was watching Alex and Cozy's podcast this week, and they're talking about like, well, what if you Zola this card? Does the leftmost Strange absorb the other Strange? Like, it's going to be very interesting to see what people do with this card. I just really haven't narrowed down what I want to do with it.
Gunny is so lost on this card.
I don't think it's a good card.
Yeah, me neither.
So, like, here's why. To make it valuable, you have like to make it better than other cards. You're either A, doing what you talked about with like clog. I could see it instantly debris, right? So playing this on 2, debris on 3. Now you're opening those lanes back up to yourself, which is pretty rad, and getting 2 power on top of that. But other than that, to make it even like a 2/4 is not good. That's pretty standard. So to get 2/6, you have to create 3 cards. No, and you have to not want what those cards are doing already.
2 cards. 2 cards. 2 cards. It's a 2/2.
Oh, you're right. So 2 cards isn't too bad. I guess that's not awful. I don't know. I still think it's too much work. I'd rather just play a different card.
Yeah, I don't have any real use for this. Like, the only home I could really see for this is Thanos. But like, then I'm not playing Mockingbird, and I need this to be better than Mockingbird for me to want to play it.
Airship value.
Bit did mention that Squirrel Girl makes him a 2/8.
Sure, I mean, no,
he makes it a 2/6. No,
it's a 2/6, same as debris.
Yeah.
So like, that's all fine. I can make I could just run. There's like 2/6 is good, right? But like, I can run a deck that runs Goliath, or like, when's the last time I played Thena again? All right, like Thena's now a 1 deck card. Like, there's 2/6s. I can get myself to a 2/6. I can run Angela and get myself to a 2/6.
Now, one thing that's interesting is cards that we already have that merge. So playing Agony with this and Penny Parker playing.
Yeah, but now I have to merge all the shit into this. Right? Like now I'm just like playing it to merge, and it's not getting the like merge one of your created cards ability. Like, it's Thanos. I think it's like, for this card to be good, I think it has to be better than Mockingbird. And like, it can be. I'm not saying that's impossible, but like, you willing to bet on that?
You can do Sasquatch value also with this card too, like with the Mysterios and stuff.
Ooh, Mysterios.
Yeah. It'll eat the real Mysterio though.
Potentially. I mean, it'll be 1 out of 3.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to fuck with it. Like, I can't run Sam anymore.
Like,
fuck, I don't want to eat the shield. Like, I don't know, man. I don't like this card. if it's better than Mockingbird, I'll happily eat my words. But I really honestly believe it has to be better than Mockingbird.
It's
Because
got to get
anywhere I
9
want to
power.
Here's the
Yeah.
big problem
well, it's
with
got to
it
get to
versus
9 power, and like it's a 2, and now I have to pay for all those other cards. Like it's just
Well,
rough.
like, it gets the
I don't
+2
think it'll ever
automatically
be-
and then absorbs the other
That's
power.
true. That's true.
I don't
Yeah,
think it'll
that's
ever be better than Mockingbird, because to get to that level, you have to play it on 2. Mockingbird can be played at any time in the game,
Mhm.
right? You draw this on 6, you're sad. You get a 2/4.
Well, yeah. Well, and Mockingbird's really, really great as a like surprise card, right? Like all of a sudden
Yeah.
you played like a lot, like you against Arishem and Thanos. You lose a lot of games to like here's Thanos and Mockingbird, here's Arishem and
Mhm.
Mockingbird. And you're like, fuck. I
Mhm.
planned for one of those. I did not remember that, like, or I remembered, but was like hoping you didn't have the second, and then like that's how you lose. But this just sits there on board. You're like, all right, well that's this much power, thanks. Like, and it's gonna like pretty damn quickly make itself a Shang target. And like if it's any good, Shadow King is immediately back.
Red Guardian too.
Red Guardian too. Like, I don't know. Man. I'm not about this life. Not about this life. Looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and then people are like, but you can play it with Victoria Hand. I'm like, but I want my Victoria Hand stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you play with Victoria Hand, that's like semi-fine, but now I better play Victoria Hand first to keep that power. And like one of those, and this is Shungable. Right? Like, I don't know. This is just a giant target.
Here's a question. It says one of your created cards. Does your opponent's debris get eaten?
Once it's on your side of the board, it's your card.
Okay.
That's how the snap has always worked. Yeah, I don't want to play this card. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just gonna be honest. Like its use is, to me, seriously, like my problem with Thanos is I feel like I get clogged with it all the goddamn time.
Yeah. Very
But like
true.
I also play Thanos literally to play Mockingbird. So I don't know how that works. Maybe you run both. You just say I'm only gonna play one of these two.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this also, like, I know it may not be the best, and we talked about it earlier too, or you guys were talking about it. Like, it absorbs the void. Maybe it's not what you want to do, but like, you also can then still throw the Strange Supreme over to your opponent's side of the board. Like, you could Viper it over, kind of thing, as like an maybe alternate to free up a lane and maybe do Annihilus things. Like, it's not going to be the most optimal line, but like, there's still some ways you can use this in a sense in your own like more toxic clog, and like it's just going to be interesting. I'm interested to see what people build for this, because I know what we're talking about here. We're not high on this card. Someone will make a really cool deck with this card, which will be sick, and you guys will see it on this channel. But
Yeah, really.
very, very, I don't know. I'm excited that these cards this season just overall seem kind of more unique in what they can do, and someone's going to crack them and make them really cool. And then there's going to be other cards later on this year that are also going to help maybe elevate some of these cards, which I think is what's cool with Snap at its core. It's not just an automatic plug and chug. This fits in this already. It's going to be bad, or like it's going to be good. Like, where of course you guys are wavering, it's not going to be a good card, but like it's just interesting that like there's so many cards this season that aren't just necessarily dead set in one niche deck.
Outside of week 1.
Outside of like week 1, but like still, even like Goliath is
Yeah.
flexible in different iterations of like ongoing.
Mhm.
Captain Carter has some different iterations, whether it is the Gwenpool or the Kahhori. Like, there's gonna be some cool just concepts you can do with it.
So Bitwiddle notes that if you Arnim Zola this, does it eat itself? No, but one will eat the other. Those are your only 2 creative cards. So you can get him to eat himself, which will double his power +2. I don't think I want to do that, but you can do that. Like, the problem is I don't wanna, I think, right? Like, usually if like it's gonna be great. Maybe I'm underestimating how many raptors and squirrels just randomly show up on the board, right?
Scar value,
'Cause, like,
right?
Yeah. God. But like it's possible I'm underestimating the sheer amount of raptors and squirrels that just randomly fucking pop up in a game of Marvel Snap. And like if that happens all the time, then this card is amazing. Like if you were like on Marvel Snap, one of the 3 locations will always be raptors or squirrels. I don't remember what those stupid things are called. Central Park? Central Park is squirrels, right? What's raptors?
Savage
Land?
Lands.
That makes perfect sense.
What
That's
is
where the
it?
dinos live.
What is the rocks one? Is it Rock Quarry? Where it creates, it fills both
Yes.
sides of the board?
Yeah.
Right? That would be pretty rad, right? Because you're
Yeah.
trying to
Maybe
pass your
there's
turn
just
so you can open that lane.
he'll eat a fucking monster
Mm-hmm.
and be
Oh,
a
yeah.
2/14.
And the hand.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll eat the hand, but you'll leave him net even. Like
A board spot.
maybe that's what he really is. If you just need a 2-drop and like you run like 1 or 2 extra cards just because you happen to be running shit that merges, like you're running Kate Bishop, so you throw him in the deck anyway because why the fuck not?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like now I have space. Great, have a great time. Maybe that's the use, and we're just like overthinking it by like building a bunch of shit, and it's just like you don't realize how much shit pops up in a game. Marvel Snap.
Yeah.
Like there's that one that tosses a rock in your hand and gives you the vibranium.
Yep.
Right? Like there's a lot of them. Maybe that's just it. Maybe maybe it's just like you throw them in a deck and like that shit shows up enough that you just get a free 2/7, 2/8 when it does.
Yeah, no, I think you're talking about like decks. Even like someone brought up Zooish with Shanna. Like sometimes, of course, you're trying to get the Dazzler value, so maybe you don't want him in that situation. But also, limiting the board spots on your board can also be counter effective for you guys. I think it's going to be kind of meta dependent too. Like if you're running into a lot of clog, you start teching this into your deck because it's a 2 cost. So like,
yeah, I think where I'm landing on it now, upon more thought, is that this is going to be a more generic 2 than a like build around 2 powerful 2.
I'm still landing on this card sucks.
Fair. Better than Bruce Banner.
Better than Bruce Banner.
This comes with Speed and US Agent, which apparently didn't have variants state of mind for the week, but probably do by now. When I did this one, US Agent doesn't have good variants though. It's fine. It's a very ugly design.
besides the bundle,
character.
The bundle one was good, but
That's fair. It was
$50.
fine.
Yeah.
Fine. I like the Strange Supreme variant here. Speed isn't good on ongoing weeks, so I don't think Speed is good anymore, y'all. That's my hot take. I think Speed's just not a very good card.
Goliath is here now.
Yeah, like we have 2/1 Speed. We have Speed at home. Thanks. I guess Speed would be the Goliath at home.
Yeah, he was just good when you needed a 3 cost to fill curve for weekend, and then Rocket and Groot came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Rocket and Groot, Red Guardian, Gladiator, like everything does something. This is just power. I don't know. I don't think Speed's any good. You still and is US Agent still Series 5 somehow?
Yes.
That's wild to me. I kept expecting that to Series 5. Thanks. US Agent's really good in basically 2 decks. Ajax shit and Havoc shit. If you want to play Ajax shit or Havoc shit, you should get US Agent. So it's expensive at least. So if you want to play Ajax or Havoc, you may want US Agent. And if not, then you probably don't need US Agent. It's literally just those 2 decks. He used to be in more shit, but then they nerfed the crap out of him. Part of the cards puts him in Surfer sometimes.
Yeah. If you see a lot of Doom 2099, you can have your US Agent to help out against the Doom 2099.
That used to be so much better. Remember when that was like an auto win when he was -4 and you were like, oh baby, I'm going to play like a 217. And now I'm like 213 is not bad. It's just, but now they're scaling up. Yeah. And it sure, like no one's using it for this because it's not good enough yet. But it sure makes Captain Carter's +3 a +0 to the back row. It's got its uses.
This is an interesting thing brought up by chat. So if Nocturne got its point of power back, it was a 3/5 again. Do you think it would start seeing more play again?
More, yes. As much as these other cards, no. So I think I've said this before, but like this is my very serious answer to this. They don't want location control to be well statted ever. They want the location variance in the game to seem high. What location control is well statted?
Well, it's not out yet. It's data mined.
Okay, Merlin, fine. fine. If that comes out, I will be very surprised. But like, look at the location control in the game, right? Like, Storm has always had shit stats. Legion is okay stats, right? Like a 5/7 that's the size of my 4s, right? Like, and Legion's something else entirely as location control. Rhino is a 3/3. Scarlet Witch is a 2/3, right? Like, they just like Nocturne is a
Quake is probably the best one.
Still a 2/3, right? Like they don't like. I'm not saying they don't want them to be good. I'm saying you have to pay a premium to get that.
Like
ability.
Nico, you have to wait for that spell. Like
yes, like there's a premium in order to have location control in your deck that they want you to have to play. You have to sacrifice something else to do that, and thus I don't expect them to ever give Nocturne her power back.
I miss main decking Quake.
You can main deck Quake. It's in quite a few lists. Cyrus was playing in fucking Move of all things.
Hmm.
You can play Quake in anything. Quake's just good.
Galactus location control.
Sure. I mean, in a way, he's very angry at those other 2 locations. And sure, he's controlling them. Like, it's hard to say making something not exist isn't control, right? Like, yeah, but like they're never gonna make Quake a 2-4. Again, they don't want location control to like be very good. That's just like it's seemingly like, and I don't know that.
Magic,
know that, right? Magic 3-2. Yeah. Remember when Magic was a 5-3?
Sheesh.
Yeah. So like, yeah. I mean, so Shang is basically like the anti-location control because location control is very powerful, and as we all know, power must be controlled. Hydra Stomper. 3-2. Actually, I think it's Tucker's turn. Tucker, read this one.
Hydra Stomper, the 3-2 Series 5 card, 6k tokens, ongoing +1 power for each card you moved this game.
What do you think?
Yeah, talk now.
So I haven't played a lot of Move in a while, so like I'm not fully versed in Move. I know Move bounce is still, I think, in a really good spot from what I've seen and what I've been beaten by. So I think this is better in the sense where it counts every single move you've done a game. Which, if this card is going to be very meta relevant, having to keep track of that every single game is going to be very difficult in a sense as an opponent. Like, you really have to be paying attention every single time, especially if they do bounce everything back to your hand. You're like, well, how many times was that torch moved? How many times was the dagger moved? Like, keeping all of that in mind is definitely going to be a handful. Like, it's very interesting to see if that actually will be in that style of move bounce, or if it is just a Heimdall, or if it is still that move bounce, you have this on the board and then it's a final turn Heimdall kind of thing. And I'm really hoping also you yourself, it works kind of like a Gore, or like potentially whatchamacallit, like a Null, where you actually get to see the power of how many moves you have.
It has to.
Or else that's going to be another thing that you have to keep track of. There's a lot of counting you have to do with this card, and I do think this card has potential, and I think it's going to be not maybe as, I mean, it's straightforward in the sense like you are moving cards, but like it's going to be interesting to see, like, well, I got to guess, how big is their Hydra Stomper right now? Are they playing Hydra Stomper? Are they going to be playing a final turn Heimdall? Like, it's just going to be interesting to keep track of cards on the board, cards that have been moved. But this has power potential to be not necessarily like a direct 1-to-1 Vulture, because Vulture gets a +6 every time he moves. But the 3-card cost thought in the move list have been interesting. Like, we tried Hercules at a 3-5, and that didn't work out as well as we thought it would. But I'm just interested to see how this does, but it's cool. Silk value.
I have trouble figuring out where to fit it in those decks. Like, what are you taking out for this?
There's one swing spot in both versions. Both the move and the move bounce have one swing spot. It could be that swing spot. I'm not saying it is, but it could be.
I mean, the one interesting piece is if you can line it up correctly, Heimdall moving cards get you to what, a 3-9?
9-ish. Yeah. And you probably move, if you're playing Heimdall, you probably move some other cards. So now you have a 3-13.
Yeah, right. So like, I think if you want to like do some maybe like silky smooth-ish type stuff with Heimdall to finish it up, to throw a Hayaka at your opponent, but you're playing something like draw on a blank, Silk, play Silk on this, play some other like Rocket and Groot, that kind of stuff that just like moves once. Next thing you know, this thing's a 3-12. That's not bad.
Sam Wilson on 2, this on 3. Shield on 3, Shield on 4, Shield on 5, Shield on 6. You now have a 3-6.
It's a good scream,
right?
So
I think I think that style deck where you're doing like a mid-rangey type, moving stuff around, and then I think Juggernaut would work with this too, right?
Well, you have to move your cards, so like Juggernaut moves your opponent's
cards. You moved, right?
Moved,
so whenever you're doing alliance,
Juggernaut would work.
You're doing
alliance
bounties,
Scream, yeah,
when you're doing alliance bounties, that's actually, I didn't even think about that. Maybe that's where this goes instead, is in like the move your opponent's stuff, plus some of your like a Silk in there, but then you're using
there's versions of that run Heimdall too.
Oh,
And
right?
Sam, like you said too, like you're just running Sam, you have Craven stuff. Like
I'm
Magneto.
thinking
Yeah.
maybe not necessarily even a move deck in the traditional sense of like Human Torch, Vulture stuff,
Yeah,
but like
that's
just
just
move your
Scream deck.
opponent's stuff around, throw the game into a weird place. Maybe you're playing Spider-Man 2099, Heimdall.
No, you're not going to play Spider-Man 2099.
I love
you were
Spider-Man
doing fine. Yeah, you and Crazy love Spider-Man 2099.
Dude, you know that 99 Problems Air Shimming 1 was a cool deck.
So yeah, in very, very hyper specific metas, it is almost a card that you can run if you don't want to run something good.
Web? Madam Web?
Yeah. I mean, that's the move decks. Like, it goes in move decks and it goes in Scream decks.
Werewolf
right?
is cool, though.
Like, Werewolf would be
I'm-
reasonably cool.
Yeah.
Sam, it's a little awkward and curved, but like, it's an ongoing, so it doesn't have to be on the board, which is real nice, right? So Sizer was really excited about this, and I'm just gonna cite Sizer because, like, who the fuck knows more about Move than Sizer, right? For anyone who's brand new here, Sizer is the number one player on the Infinite leaderboard basically every season at this point. Like, we had 2 seasons where there was some heavy Italian collusion from one specific group, and outside of that, Sizer's been number 1 since October, every month since October, and in the months he wasn't, he was number 2 because of the collusion. And then I think he was actually number 2 in September also, but whatever. To Derek, who's amazing. So whatever, he's real good at ladder, and he plays largely move. He was super, super hyped for this deck. So when this card got spoiled, I was like, just tell me. Like, I'm not gonna fucking try and figure this out. You tell me what this is. Like, why use my brain when I can use his? And he was like, I'm so excited. And then what he did was he took the regular move deck and put Craven in it, the Heimdall one, the one that runs Cloak and Heimdall, and he put Craven in it. And he's like, oh, Craven's bigger than Dagger now. Like, Craven's
Hydra
like,
Stomper?
no, I mean Craven.
Okay.
You missed the beginning of that context then.
Okay.
But like, so he put Craven in anticipation of Hydra Stomper. And he was like, oh, when I play Craven is bigger than Dagger already. He's a third mover because Craven gets +2. You Heimdall, that's easily a +6 on there. Plus you play Cloak, and that's an extra plus like 4 or 6 there, and it just ends up stupidly huge, right? So he's like, I don't know if I want to pay 3 for what I already get for 2. But the caveat there is Hydra Stomper is an ongoing. And it's probably at least as good as Heimdall, even if it's not like quite as like insane. And there's a possibility in certain metas we can run both. We can find something else to cut. At which point we're really just singing, right? Like, this card kind of... So the problem with this card is it kind of has to be completely broken to be worth playing. Because that deck is real good. But like, there's at least a chance it's completely broken. That's probably not the best place in the world to be. You don't want the cards to be like totally unplayable and we'll just go directly into the binder. You don't want the cards to be either Hercules or Aranya, right? Like, you would like some like middle ground there. And I don't think that middle ground exists for Hydra Stomper, so I don't love the design. My guess is this is very good, but we're going to know within like 3 hours after this card's release how good it is.
I'm mid on this for sure.
I would not be shocked to see people try a lot of Silky Smooth. That's not going to be very good with this. I do think that there is a version of Scream. So the Scream that ran Heimdall was the Scar, but not the Scar, the Surtur version. And I don't think we necessarily want to go back to the Surtur version. But what happens if we put Hydra Stomper in the Surtur spot and just keep Magneto and Heimdall as a top end? Because like, we've got our Sam, we've got our like Spider-Man, our Polaris, our Stagrons of the world. And that's like, now we're already at like a 3/6, 3/7, and we just get a 3/13 if we Heimdall, and we get like a 3/9 or 10 if we Magneto. Seems like I'd play that deck. And I'm pretty sure like the Browder Derek group of the world is going to immediately go into that. And I think that's going to be very good, like fundamentally the second this card comes out. It's very hard for me to imagine that not working as a very good deck. Because like, you're basically saying I used to get 9 or 10 power from Scar, and that's why I ran it that way. But now I'm going to get 9 or 10 power from Hydra Bob, and I can run it that way. Or it can get even bigger, like Surtur can sometimes get bigger. Like, I don't know what the downside there is. It just seems too easy.
Yeah, turn 6, this and Juggernaut, pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Hell, Hydra Bob, Spider-Man this, right? Like all the other moves from the game still count. That this is an ongoing is what makes it so good, I think. Because I don't know if I want to play this on curve. But like if I can play a Rocket and Groot and then like later on drop this.
And Spider-Man's cool because it's 2 moves at one time, potentially, too.
Yeah, true. Spider-Man's immediately makes this a 3/4.
Yeah, in the deck you're just talking about, especially since Spider-Man's cost 2 now, this is a great turn 5 play with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm in on this card. Scream remains winning. I think Scream is the best card in the game. I know Derek didn't yell at me about that yesterday, but like I do think Scream is the best card in the game. Like bar none. We done? It comes. If it comes, this could be the week we get our snap packs. If this card comes in Spotlights, for the love of God, please give us snap packs, because it will come with Aranya and Madam Web, and I don't need that shit in my life. I just don't need that week. Want to see how little I can stream in 1 week?
I always love when they do weeks like this, though, where like if you want to do move stuff, it all goes together.
Oh, it's great for players. I just don't like it.
Yeah, if this is a Spotlight week, it's a must-open week, especially if you're missing Madam Web or Aranya. But like with the caveat, you have to like move.
If it
yeah, and it has to exist.
Although if you have Red Wing, you don't have to like move. You can just play. You can just play Red Wing Aranya Madam Web. It's a real deck.
I know.
I really like Red Wing way more than I thought, and I wanted to hate that card forever because birds are food, not friends.
Great.
It's just true. Makes Perry very upset.
What do you think about Madam Web, this variant?
Yeah. I don't know. It's
is this like the month of Doom covers?
I think this is just like some
Madam Thirst Trap. Yep.
Red latex mommy. I mean, if we're into S&M, we're into S&M. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm really into this Aranya variant.
This is.
I think it's Envar Studios Aranya.
Yeah. It wasn't there when I made the slide, so I was like, all right, fuck it. Who cares? Yeah, there's another.
I think the Hydra Stomper looks lame.
The Iron Giant.
Yeah.
I like Iron Giant an awful lot, so I'm just gonna call it Iron Giant. Although, the other reason I'm really rooting for Hydra Stomper to be good is Hydra, you might not know this, are a very thinly veiled allegory for Nazis. And I'm pretty okay with stomping out some Nazis.
There you go.
So, there you go. Fair enough. All right. We have one more card to talk about, and then we are on to Variant of the Week. Let's hope I put Gunnies on there. It is Dum Dum Dugan. He is not Series 5, 6,000. He is Series 4, 3,000 tokens. He's going to be in the Voltage, and he's updated to 2/3. Again, when I made the slideshow, that didn't exist. Ongoing, your cards in the front row here have +1 power. Your other cards here, he will not affect himself, which means that if he is in the front row, the other card will get +1, but he will still be a 2/3. If he's in the back row, he will be fundamentally a 2/5. What do we think of Dum Dum?
He's interesting. He's okay. He can be essentially a 2/5 if you play him third. I mean, you can Moonstone him too, so your other cards up front can get +2. But I mean, why would I want to play Dum Dum if I have Captain Carter? I mean,
well, you play it with Captain Carter, right?
They're different, yeah.
You play it behind Captain Carter.
Yeah.
And then he gives Captain Carter 1, and she gives him 4.
Yeah, okay. I'm playing other cards in 2 slot instead. That's just what I'm going to say.
You're going to cut Goliath and Sam for this, no?
Yeah, I'm cutting Goliath and Sam for a Dum Dum. Yeah, no.
He's got Ika's mustache, and he's wearing a silly hat. They turned Ika into a Marvel Snap card. No, Ika doesn't have those kind of muscles.
He's not a Dum Dum.
He's not a Dum Dum. But Second Dinner thinks he is.
Oh my gosh.
It's a great card to get for free.
And for early pool collection players, like, not horrible. If you don't have, Sam, Goliath, Ravonna.
Yeah. Card is utter garbage, but very cool character. I'm happy he's in the game.
What
got
buff
a giant
makes
fucking
it,
gun
what,
and a silly
what buff
hat.
makes it okay?
No, you don't want him to be good. Because he has to be like a 2/4, or he has to be able to... If he affects himself, he's all of a sudden good, right?
Mm-hmm.
If, he's at base a 2/5. Like if you can play him in the front. Like if I could play him on curve on turn 2 and have him be a 2/5, he's great.
So why won't it affect himself? Because
It's written on there, it just doesn't.
Okay.
It says either other or says does not affect self in parentheses. I can't remember.
It says don't affect self.
Yeah. So because God forbid they just use the word other.
That's what Dance was saying too. He's like, why don't they just do it that way? Why do you have to have the extra line of text here? Like
they're not grammarians is basically the problem here. Yeah. His name is fine. He's a World War II character. He's a Howling Commandos, like Nick Fury, original Nick Fury character. Like shoots up the Nazis with the OG Captain America before Ice character. I don't know. At the end of the day, he's the problem is you can't play him on curve. If you can play him on curve, I think he's fine. If I could run him with Captain Carter, with Goliath, and with Sam, I'd consider it, right? Like a 2/5 that like then makes my Captain Carter really solid, like gives her an extra power, makes her an immediate 4. I'm fine with that. I don't know. For me, I don't think I'm fine with that anyway. Even then, like I just play fucking Lizard or something, right? Like, what am I doing with this card? All right, whatever. We're wasting time. No one cares about Dum Dum. Anyone care about Dum Dum?
No.
Sorry, Ika. Let's move on. Our card of the week is Ant-Man because I wanted to pick a different ongoing card that we haven't talked about. And like I feel like we've done Captain America and Doom 17 times each. So, variant of the week, Ant-Man. Who picked the baby?
I did. I like the baby. I like quite a few of the babies, actually. I think they're all goofy and funny. And I've done this enough times where folks may know that I enjoy the goofy, funny cards. I play this game to have fun, and this card is fun to me. Or this variant is fun to me. One thing I looked at several of the Ant-Man variants, obviously, when I was picking this. And I specifically liked all the ones that showcased how small he was. So, right, like the one on top of the fly, pretty cool. Because it shows how small he is. The one where he's stealing the cookie was another option. I like Dan Hip a lot, but one of the reasons why I didn't choose that is that there's no scale there. It doesn't show that he's a tiny Ant-Man. So this card, obviously, it hits all the wickets for me of being a fun card, shows how small he is. Yeah. Very cool.
So
I did the middle Ant-Man. I think I just really like the coloring and like the way his helmet looks kind of more classical here. And I do agree. I like this small Ant-Man. Like I like how the depiction of him as a smaller character is cool. He's not a small character, maybe as visibly here, unless you look closer and it looks like he's standing on like a picture frame, like in this picture, which I like. But this was a bundle from I think last year or a year before, and I just like the costume and the coloring on it.
So I picked the one with the flying ant. Largely because when you play the card, it looks like he's shrinking down to go on the ant, and it's got the after images. And I think that like the synergy between the animation that the card has and the way the card actually looks is really, really cool. When I first started playing Marvel Snap, I didn't have this variant for quite a while, and I would see other people play it, and I would always be like, "That's so cool!" That like it looks like it's like flying onto the ant, and then like it lands on the ant, and then it's a card on the board. And I think that's really, really cool. Like it's my favorite Ant-Man, like by a fair margin. But Ant-Man, like fairly surprisingly, also has like an awful lot of very good variants.
Yeah, quite a few. I like the one where he's dodging the bullets. It's pretty cool too.
And that one is cool. And I've been watching the MCU with my son, and our next movie is Ant-Man, first Ant-Man. So
good movie.
He's on my mind. It is like he was like, "Do we have to watch Ant-Man?" I was like, "You're gonna like Ant-Man more than you think. You're not gonna like Ant-Man 3. You'll like Ant-Man and Ant-Man 2. Yeah. Quantumania probably shouldn't have existed.
No.
No.
I'm an Avenger too.
Age of Ultron is better than I thought it was. It's better than I remembered it being.
Yeah.
It was like, that was our last movie, and like I remembered not very much liking that. But it was like a good movie. It wasn't great, but it was good.
It added like character development, and like it brought in some really new characters. That was cool.
And Quicksilver's like actually likable. Like I don't know if you've read enough comics, but Quicksilver's not often very likable. So like they made a likable Quicksilver. Dude's a dick. Yeah, all right. Enough of that. Tuccrr, why should people follow you on both Twitters and YouTubes? Not Twitters. Twitches and YouTubes. No one should follow you on Twitter because no one should be on Twitter.
Well, if you guys are not following me on those platforms, you guys just want to come into an environment where we can all just hang out, talk about Snap, talk about whatever else is going on, as well as just try some more off-meta style decks. That is what we be doing every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday live on Twitch, YouTube. I like to also have a new video for each new card that does release, as well as either potentially a season pass card. And we do a buy or bust every single week where we talk about the new card releasing on the following Tuesday. I give you guys 3 different decks, key synergies, counters, the floor and ceiling for the card, as well as we talk about the Spotlight Week, which Spotlights might be going away soon, of course, depending on where this all happens. But all around, everyone is welcome. And I just want a free and safe space for all of us just to hang out, because you're not just viewers, you're my friends. And I just want to be able to hang out with my friends.
Do you know how new kings happen? There's 2 ways. First, a king has a child that grows up and eventually becomes king. The other is that a king slays the other king. And I don't know if you've seen Drew or Docty around, but I haven't. And now we have the new king of new card content, the Pirate King Tuccrr. In addition to being the new king, don't mess around. He will slay you if you come for that throne, much like the long-lost Drew and Docty could attest were they here. They're like his toes, just gone. In fact, every stream from now on for Tuccrr, for Johnny Nine Toes, will be to get him a new toe. If you would like this man to have 10 toes and reclaim the name Tuccrr, you need to make sure you're watching his streams and videos such that he can make enough money to be Johnny 10 Toes, also known as Tuccrr. Thank you.
I don't think I can add to that.
I had that planned from the start. All right. Friends, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/snapjudgments. I spend way too much money on this community, and the Patreon is the only way I can remotely justify that to myself. So if any of you are interested in joining, please do check it out. It also gets you entry into the leagues, which at this point I advertise the shit out of and have very little to do with. Gunny runs them entirely, but they still run ridiculously freaking well. And
for all of those listening on Twitter right now, you can type in /register. Or sorry, on Twitch.
Yeah.
You can type in /register, and season 6 is already open. So a little secret for you. I haven't created the advertisement for it yet, so most people won't know about it, but you will. And then the advertisements will be live once this goes on to podcasts. So anyways, if you are a patron and you have your Top Deck account linked, just /register and you're into season 6.
Also, if you're interested in the Patreon, the $10 tier tomorrow, or I don't know when, as of this going live, at some point relatively soon, or is already there at the $10 tier, in addition to coming with the honor thanks I'm about to do, we'll have an exclusive extra podcast with myself, Roy, who you might know from being on this podcast once in a while, and our friend Chris, both of whom are very casual players, because I want to get the new card acquisition systems take from people who are not like as steeped in the like Marvel content like mire as we are. And so if you're curious about like what the fabled casual player thinks of these changes, what they thought of spotlights, Chris actually stopped playing for like 6 months and came back, so he's also a returning player. We can get all that information, and hopefully you check that out on the $10 tier of the podcast. Now, I'm going to say thank you to a whole bunch of patrons as thanks as I can. We're going to kick it off with our friend Frat Nick, our patron of the month. Thank you to Abigail, Lisa, Manager, Bernard, Irgil, SLAB, Inkime, Frostman, Hota, Nevedite, Think, Poker, Prime, Brian, Prime Burke, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Caretix Lee, Koi Ray, Kazushi, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Provost, The Goat Seeker, Hallowed, Only Fox Synth, Absolute Shannon, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip, Ragman, Chaplow, Candy Loggins of the Digital, The Biz, Black Jeebus 23, Extra C, and Skippy G, Rhyming Friends, Jessica Gamble, Mr. Slush Death, The King of Bros, Grey Kazoo, Werewolf, Kepsiota, Lunacris, Clam, Colonel Foreman, Bricks to Click, Rob Silman, M. Holland, David Ewing, Phil Steven, Brian Coffin, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B, Mr. Craig Sterry, Matt V, Ren Wrench, Corman, John Q, Jimmy Q, Q Down, Yes, Stout, 8 Sage, 1 Big Man, Look Man for Reals, Cactus Jack, BG, Quid Pro Joe, Snap Decision Joe, Models, Not Supreme, Green Goblin, Unibot, Fawn, Phase 6, The Fuzzy Not, Spectrix, Hoot, Oculars, Mad H, DJ Mechanic, Snowflex, Nick Degree, Exodrix, The Game Kind of Demeth, Feather Newman, Jonesy, Two Ties, The Great Lord Evs, Johnny Nine Toes, and then, of course, Gunny T, who you can find right here fairly often. Johnny, where can our friends find you once more?
You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. It's going to be TUCCRR.
Arr, arr.
Arr,
Remember,
arr.
don't mess with him or he will slay ye. Rip, Docky. Gunny, any final words?
The T this week stands for Tuccrr. It's not Johnny Nine Toes. Don't get confused.
The
It's
T stands for
Tuccrr.
toes.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
I had
All
me
right.
10 toes, then Glazer took me toe and sold it to Gunny for season 6.
Peace and love, everybody.